What is up, Packet Nation? So welcome back to this next video in this DNS series that I'm making. Excited to have you back and check out my new threads for it. That's right, Packethead, it was DNS. Poor DNS folks out there in the world that got to support DNS. I know you're getting a lot of this, but hey, that's what we're here to learn about how DNS works, the theory behind it, and of course, getting into the packets with Wireshark. Stick around for that. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about, does DNS always use UDP, and when and where will it use TCP? So one reason why we're going to talk about this now is I hear a lot of misinformation out there, and let's just set the record straight. Some feel that TCP is only used in large zone transfers or in a part of DNS that you might not ever see as a client. We're going to see if that's true and look at some specific scenarios when DNS will use TCP. Now this is important because, as I've heard around the industry, and maybe you've heard yourself, in some DNS environments they block TCP altogether thinking it's UDP only, but then they have some DNS issues. So we're going to see why that could happen. But first, let's go back to the RFCs. So if I take a look at this RFC, this was actually written back in the 1989, I believe, back in that time frame. And this is RFC 1123, linked down below. And if you come down here to 61232 transport protocols, it mentions DNS resolvers and recursive servers must support UDP and should support TCP for sending non-zone transfer queries. So this could be any query with DNS could potentially go over TCP. Now, why would it do that? Well, it says if the answer section of the response is truncated, meaning it's not complete, it just got a chunk of the response, not the full thing, and if the requester supports TCP, it should try the query again using TCP. Now, just a little bit of a way back, why was DNS over UDP to begin with? Well, right here it mentions UDP is preferred because UDP has a lower overhead, both in packet count and in connection state. So UDP is just a lighter weight transport protocol. It's only 8 bytes. You've seen that on my channel. So a client, it can put that DNS request in that UDP header, or that datagram goes in the UDP header, and it can send it, and it doesn't have to track state and bytes and all of those things that TCP has to do. So in this case, just to put all of that simply, it just comes down to the size of the datagram, or the size of the response. If it's over a certain point, then the client should try TCP and then move that data across. But if it's under that point, then UDP will work just fine. And what that point is, really depends on the type of DNS I'm using. If I'm using old school DNS, that limit was 512 bytes of a response. Hey server, if you're going to send me anything more than 512 bytes in a response, I'm going to go ahead and try this with TCP because that's just too much that I want to put in one datagram. In modern days, it's a little bit more than that. In fact, you'll see 1220s, you'll see up to even 1280s. So we do have a bit more space today for some of the extra extensions that we see, but that's the fundamental reason why we would fall over to TCP. The response is just too big. Now to show you that, let's go ahead and generate some DNS responses that are larger, and then we'll open them up in Wireshark and see how that works. So what I'm going to do here on the right, I'm actually going to generate a DNS request that very specifically will start with UDP and then it will fall back to TCP, and then we'll see why that happens. To do that, I'm going to use a tool called Dig. Now, Dig is available. It's a common DNS tool. In fact, I suggest you check it out. Along with DNS Lookup, we can use both of those, and that allows you to manually generate some DNS traffic that you can then inspect. So my first thing I'm going to just do is just say dig, okay? And then the next thing I want to do is tell it, so what website do I want it to look up? Let's just do our wireshark.org. Okay, and next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say plus DNSSEC. And I'm also going to say buff size equals 512. Look at my equals. So what this does is it's going to generate a request for wireshark.org. It's going to ask for the DNSSEC extensions because that adds more stuff. I'm not just asking for an IP address. I'm also asking for the DNSSEC piece. Don't worry about that right now. Pause that for later. We will get to that in this series. Okay, now you know me. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to fire up my capture. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to come back over here and I'm actually going to run this query. So I'm going to do that. So this sent out that request, DNSSEC buffer size 512. Now while I'm at it, I didn't indicate what my server would be. So it actually looked up my local resolver. It could have been that that server had something cached. It could be that the response from that server didn't exceed 512. So this is what I want to do. I'm going to up arrow. I actually want to bypass my local resolver. I'm just going to say a root servers.net and just leave the rest alone. Wireshark.org DNSSEC. So what this does is I bypass my resolver and I go straight to the root servers, and I'm asking about this, and hopefully I'll see all the top level domains come back. My goal here, everybody, is I just want a large response. So let's go ahead and run that as well. Okay, so you can see a lot more stuff there. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to stop this PCAP, and you can go ahead and download it in the description down below. Now, I did filter it. You're not going to see exactly the same PCAP that I just captured, but I just filtered out only the pertinent stuff that you're going to want to see to follow along. All right, here's our capture. I've got 13 packets. I've got some DNS. Let's just see what happens. So first, let's go to that first request. Now, we learned this in our first DNS video. If you missed that, go ahead and click up here. You can see lesson 1 of this DNS series. If I come down here, you can see I'm still over UDP. This is a request, just a standard query, a client going out there. There's one question, one additional resource record. Let's take a look at what it is. Wireshark.org, I want a host address. And coming down here, notice what my payload size is. Now, we set that in DIG, remember? And we also said, we'll accept DNSSEC security resource records. What those are, don't worry right now. I'm just asking for more stuff to try to break that size limit of UDP. So right here, this is where the client basically offers that size. It says, hey, if you have more to send than 512, I'm going to have to hit you back with TCP. So let's see what happens on the response. The server comes back, and up here on the server, notice that it says truncated. Message is not truncated. That means I'm giving you a complete response. This is a complete datagram. There's no need to break it up. So the server is able to fit all the stuff that I requested into this packet. Here's wireshark.org. Hey, Chris, here's your response. You can check this out. Here's an IP. Here's an IP. Here's an IP, here's some additional record stuff. Notice that the server is saying, hey, payload side, I can go up to 1232, even though the server will respect that lower limit by the client. In a way, it's funny. I almost think of that payload size almost like the UDP version of a TCP MSS. Like, this is about the amount that I'll go to. If any more, I'm going to have a problem. All right, so that was just a standard response, right? I asked a question, got a response, and there we go. But I didn't see TCP yet. So that second request that we did, when we bypassed the local resolver, because it could be the local resolver was just caching some of those things. Maybe it didn't pass through some of those things to us. I want to say, you know what? Go ahead and park yourself. I want to go to the root server. I want to see what the full meat and potatoes is. Give me some top level domain information. Let's see what that looked like. Going to go to packet 3. All right, so here's the client. Client goes out. And here we see this is just a regular query. The client isn't truncating anything. I'm not asking a question that's that big. My question, same question, wireshark.org. I want an A record, and I'm limiting my payload size to 512. And yep, give me DNSSEC if you've got it. Let's see what the response says. Go to packet 4. All right, this is from, check this out, 198.41.04. So I already had a list of this root server. I already know where to go to. Remember, we forced it into DIG. We said, hey, DIG, go directly to our root server. So here's our response from that server. Now notice this, truncated. Message is truncated. This thing means everything, this flag in DNS. It means, hey, this is a piece of the response, but it's not the full thing. I just had too much to send you. Let's take a look at that response. So here I've got wireshark.org. There's the query. This is what you were asking about. So here's the authoritative name servers. Here's the name servers for org. You can go talk to these top level domains. By the way, I'm about to release the next video in this lesson. I'll be doing that as well, where I'm going to talk about that full backend DNS resolution, that full recursive look where we go to root, TLD, and authoritative name server. That is coming soon. All right. But back to what we have today. So the whole point, give me a lot of stuff, right? And even give me this DNSSEC information for .org, additional records. Okay, it's a server saying, hey, I could even go up to 4096, man. The client saying, look, I told you 512. The server didn't send everything that it wanted to. The client, as soon as it sees this truncated, what it's going to do is going to go back up. Whoa, hang on a second. There's more to say here. Let me go to TCP. Let me kick off a TCP handshake, And this is just like any other TCP handshake you've seen on my channel, sin, ac. Here we are, we got our options that are loaded up. We got our response coming back from that server. We're establishing TCP. Kind of fun. If we go down to, I'm curious with that root server, MSS, timestamps, you notice what's missing. We don't have selective acknowledgement, kind of interesting right there. We don't have any window scale that server has responded to. But anyway, that's a TCP road. We don't got to go down that road right now. Let's get back to it. All right, so after that TCP handshake, then the request goes back out, wireshark.org, give me the goods. So wireshark.org, there's my host address, and here's my UDP payload size, but now I'm running this over TCP. So big deal, right? Now the server can go, I can crack right through that 512, and I can send you all of this payload, which is 781. So here I can see this is a TCP payload, and here my my truncation flag is now no longer needed because I'm able to send all of my records and authority records, additional records, and so on. So here, just to break these down real quick as well. So it repeats the question back to me. This is the question that you had. The authority records, so these are the servers that we're going to talk to, but also some additional resource records as well. A resource record is just that chunk of information that DNS is sending back. Here's a server, here's a response, here's DNSSEC information, here's all the pieces of information that you wanted. That's these records. All right, so here's our request, authoritative name servers, and if you come down to these additional records, this is why we exceeded that 512, because we've got a bunch of stuff that's packed in here. Don't worry too much about what it is. I'm just wanting to show you why the client would roll over to TCP. All right, so once this comes across, TCP rules apply. The client acknowledges, says, great, thanks, I'm done, you done, yep, we're done, cool, we can go ahead and back out of this. Now, there's a whole lot more to say as far as when and situations that you would use TCP. This was something that I forced. But as we go forward with DNS, and as DNS is migrating to the modern world, these records and the amount of data is just getting larger in some instances, especially when we're trying to secure it. So that's why it's important, if we have any blocks of TCP right now, we want to reconsider that. TCP is a rollback. Basically, if there's too much data to send over UDP and I hit those limits, I'm going to go over to TCP and try it there. So it's not just for zone transfers packet people. That was our takeaway point for today. But now, what we want to do is look at that full recursive lookup. We want to see when a DNS server has to do the full backend transaction and put that whole thing together for the client. So that is coming up. You can go ahead and click that video right here.